Logan Broadbent loves to play catch. You might see him at Edgewater Park or in some wide open space in the Cleveland Metroparks, his right elbow tightly taped to protect his ulnar collateral ligament as he throws and catches for hours.
Check this out.
But you won't see anyone playing with him. His passion is a solitary pursuit. He's both thrower and catcher. That's the way boomerangs work.
Boomerangs, it's a relatively complicated sport. There are actually 6 individual events that we compete in over the course of a tournament, and you have to specialize in each of those events. So first you have to have the right equipment that really works well in every different type of weather condition, and then you really need to know how to use it. So it takes years to learn your boomerangs, to learn the different skills and catches and events, but eventually you kind of, you start to develop, that expertise, and you start winning.
Winning is something the 31-year-old Clevelander knows a lot about. He's the reigning U.S. champion of the sport of boomeranging, winning the title in Boise, Idaho in August, after finishing second the previous 2 years. He's also a member of the reigning world champion United States Boomerang team, and is its youngest member ever, having joined when he was just 14. He's been on the national team more than half his life. To become the best, Broadbent worked to master the 6 events in competitive boomerang: accuracy, Aussie round, which combines distance, accuracy, and catching; endurance, fast catch, maximum time aloft, and trick catch, in which a competitor catches the boomerang in acrobatic ways and sometimes throws 2 boomerangs at once and catches them both in different ways. How did he get so good? First, genetics. Broadbent's father, Lakewood native and Canton resident Gary Broadbent, ranked #1 in the country in 1997. He got into the sport as a child and became a boomerang evangelist in his teens. He still does presentations about the history and physics of boomerangs for school kids.
It's coming back. Not bad, right on target, just like a pro. Now,
do you remember as a real little kid him just sort of putting a boomerang in your hand and saying, throw it?
Yeah, he said that the first time I threw and caught a boomerang, I was 18 months old, but I don't know if that's true. It was one of those little boomerangs that probably just landed on me.
But DNA only gets you so far. Broadbent practices at least 3 times a week and trains every day to keep his body in top shape. He's qualified for the Boston Marathon 8 times, and he's a 4-time competitor in the American Ninja Warrior television competition, known nationally as the Boomerang Ninja. And those ninja skills come in handy when one of his boomerangs gets caught in a tree.
Here we go.
Broadbent often attracts a crowd when he practices, and he's eager to teach newcomers how to become proficient at his craft. Even ones who aren't initially eager to look like a fool doing something they've never tried before.
Well, I'm sure if I tried to throw one of these things, it would probably go about 10 feet and fall to the ground.
I think you'd be surprised. I think you may be able to throw and catch one today. Do you want to give it a shot?
Actually, I'm not dressed for it. I mean, as you can see, I'm a journalist.
Like
I'm dressed in this way. What I would need would be like a shirt and a pair of shoes and some shorts.
If only you had a pair of those.
Wow. Well, I guess we're...
Oh, you got everything you need.
Why don't I go change and I'll be back in a second.
All right, see you in a second.
Let me just say I have not been throwing a boomerang since I was a toddler. In fact, I'd never thrown a boomerang in my life. Broadbent was a patient teacher.
You just throw it like a football, right?
Yeah, you throw it overhand, very similar to a football.
Not a frisbee.
Definitely not a frisbee. A lot of people think you throw it sidearm, but boomerang's not going to come back that way. What I do is I tend to bring this wing back toward my forearm. That's what's going to allow you to get even more spin out of your throw.
The throwing, it turns out, came pretty quickly. The catching was a bit trickier. A boomerang is not a baseball or a football. Not even a frisbee.
Oh, that was it! That was perfect! Oh, that was perfect! It was right there! That was so good! Oh, man! Oh, that was it! That was it! One more. Oh, that was perfect! That's perfect.
Eventually, I got the hang of it, but I was a little eager next to a surefire Hall of Famer.
Yeah!
A neophyte next to a legend.
No, that's okay.
Long after I was done, Broadbent was still adjusting his airfoils, adding rubber bands for drag, throwing his boomerangs and making catches with his hands and sometimes with his feet. He should have charged admission. When he finished, I climbed into my car, and he prepared for a long run. Because that's what champions do.